Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our March meeting. They fly by so fast, I can't remember which one it is. Welcome to those that are watching online and those that are here in person. We are glad to have you tonight. Reverend Dr. Peter Smith, there you are, is going to do the invocation tonight. Reverend, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. And so after he does the invocation, Vice Mayor Reed will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend.
Thank you all for the opportunity to share with you this evening. Just a couple of verses here from one of my favorite passages. Somehow, I have the impression that we just continue living in divided times of difficulty and conflict. From 1 John chapter 4. Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God, God abides in him and he in God. So we have come to know and to believe that the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. Most holy and wonderful one, you are love. And in that love, we gather here this evening. We offer ourselves to you this evening. We call upon your Spirit in this evening. Surround us and unite us, link us up, connect us with all of your children, wherever they may be, especially where love is hard-pressed. We remember our sisters and brothers in Ukraine right now, and other places in this world where evil and destruction reign. But your love is greater still. Guide all that we do here tonight in that love, and impress on us all the love of our neighbor. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, if you'd kindly call the roll.
Mrs. Amos?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Dwyer?
Here.
Mr. Hunter?
Here.
Mr. Parrott?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Vincent?
Thank you, ma'am. Our next order of business is a public hearing for a conditional use permit, case number 22-001. Mr. Davis, are you speaking to that?
Mayor, you are correct. It is for a conditional use permit. The applicants are here. It is for 703 First Avenue. It is for a dwelling unit above the garage that they're building on their property. And offering any comments from the public. They have questions or council.
Anyone out there have any comments? I assume no one signed up to speak, right, Madam Clerk?
No one has signed up to speak.
Okay. Anyone out there wish to speak? Anyone on the dais wish to speak? Any questions? If not, we'll bring the public hearing to a close and move to the next item, which is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, anyone sign up?
Yes, we have Rick Ewing here. Mr. Ewing, you have 3 minutes.
Welcome, sir. You need some help with the mic.
I think I can do it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. Davis. I'm Rick Ewing, Library Director for Farmville and a couple of counties. So I'm here today. I think you all have in your I'll call it a packet, some information, documents that I forwarded, or I gave to Mr. Davis, and he forwarded to you. As I wrote, the new minimum wage that goes into effect in January, this coming January, is the largest part of the increase. Most library staff make minimum wage, 11 out of 20. And so I would ask you to take notice of the library wage history that I included. And I think you'll agree that the library's wages are modest. If you don't, please give me a call, and we can talk about it, or email me. Other factors in the increase are the reduction in state library funding and joining the Virginia retirement system. It's pretty tough to compete in today's job market without some sort of a retirement system for full-time people. So you have all of that. You all can read. I'm going to move to a little bit beyond the budget and talk about the library for a minute. We have over 1 million titles available at the Farmville Library, if you include digital and physical. And that doesn't even count the Hampton-Sydney College connection that we've made, and Longwood. The Greenwood Library is coming along, and you know, that'll increase it dramatically. We have delivery between all of the libraries, so you can get whatever you want and pick it up at the Farmville Library and return it there. We're a meeting, a gathering place, a study place for people of all ages. We're a place for people to be that doesn't require them to spend money. And you know, if you all think about that, how many public places are there to be where you don't have to spend money? Not too many. Maybe none, I don't know, except the library. And we have programs where, you know, numbers are dropping for COVID. We have programs for children's, teens, and adults. We will help you with your technology. People bring in their computers, their devices, their phones. We help them with that, or we'll help them with our technology. We have high-speed Wi-Fi, the best in Farmville, for the public. It's available 24/7 in our parking lot. Go by on a, you know, Sunday morning. You probably see some cars there. You might get using our high-speed Wi-Fi. So we have really good printing. You can print from your device to our printer. You can print from home to our printers and then come in and get it a little later. Black and white, 10 cents, color 25 cents, faxing 50 cents. Maybe the best deal for that in town. Might be cheaper than printing at home. We've recently started the Dolly Parton Information Library Service. You probably might have seen an article about that. Free books mailed to kids' homes in Farmville and the 2 counties, up until from 0 to 5. And that's when you catch them. That's when children learn literacy. They hear it. They hear the cadence. They hear the sounds. And sure, they can't read when they're 2, maybe, but they hear it, and that's very important. And Story Walk. You'll be hearing more about that if you haven't already. We're encouraging people to walk around Farmville with their kids, or just by themselves, adults, and read a story as they walk around Main Street, 3 blocks up, 3 blocks back. I just want to thank you for supporting the library, and if you have any questions, you can call me. I'll give you my cell phone number, or email me. Stop by. I'm usually there at the Farmville Library. That's where my office is. I just appreciate your support. And again, you know, if you have any questions, give me a call. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions like right now, or that you want to?
Anyone have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ewing.
Thank you.
We have Jen Cox next.
Welcome. Very excited to see you. Lots happening in your world.
I was going to say, well, I wanted to say thank you on behalf of Lancer Nation. So for our town in the community for coming out with such support. I know the mayor had a chance to travel this past weekend. Kind of a blur, right, Mayor? So some exciting news, and you're some of the first to know. We just pushed this email out just over 30 minutes ago. We are going to be doing a Selection Sunday watch party in Willett Hall. It's free, completely open to the public. So we'll have students, faculty, staff, community members there. So we hope everyone will come out. The doors will open at 5:30 on Sunday. The men's selection show starts at 6. And the fun thing about that is CBS will actually cut to a live national TV feed of Willett Hall. So when Longwood's announced, we hope to have our big moment with, I guess, our players jumping out of chairs and everyone going crazy. And then again, at 8 o'clock will be the women's bracket. So Willett Hall, 5:30 to 9 o'clock this Sunday. We hope community members will come out. You all are welcome to come out. We ask everybody to please, wear your Lancer gear. If you've got scarves, which I know you all do, wear your scarves, and just come and enjoy if you so choose. We'll have food, drinks, giveaways. We're doing some highlight videos of the season, just to enjoy everything about it. So thank you all for all your support so far. I know the town was instrumental in helping make sure we had a nice welcome back for the buses when they came back Monday afternoon. And we're really looking forward to seeing everything that happens in the next week and a half or so. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. It is definitely very exciting. While you're here, Mr. Davis and I talked about this today, and one of the things that we talked about is a Turn the Town Blue event, and ask folks to put out blue lights or blue lights in their windows or turn their porch lights to blue. So we hope that we can gain a lot of Lancer spirit and talk to the county. They're going to turn probably the courthouse blue, and it'll be a joint town-county effort of turn the community blue. Mr. Davis, you have any thoughts you want to add? Except finding blue bulbs, right?
Well, thank you all for the support, and we hope to have some additional posters and things for Main Street and downtown and all the businesses that want to grab one to kind of help show their support tomorrow or first thing Friday. So again, just thank you, and please feel free to spread the word about Sunday.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Madam Clerk, anyone else who wants to speak? Anyone who wants to speak who didn't sign up? Okay, we'll bring the public hearing portion to a close and move to our regular agenda. And with that, I'll request approval of the consent agenda. First, does anybody have anything they want to pull out of the consent agenda? If not, do I hear a motion we approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Finance report, Madam Treasurer.
Good evening. You have February's finance report in front of you. The percentage collected real estate through March 10th today is 97.19. Personal property tax is 95.44. Real estate is still up 0.51%, and personal property is still up 0.25% from last month. We are still collecting business license, which of course was due the end of February, and we will have an annual retail sales report for you at the April meeting. Do you have any questions?
Anyone have any questions? If not, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Old business, item 9, appointment to the Farmville Industrial Development Authority. Mr. Davis?
Mr. Reed, do you want to?
Mr. Reed?
Either way, I can go. Prior to our regular meeting, the Personnel Committee met, and we had 2 applicants that applied for the Farmville IDA Authority, and that was Mark Cardolo and Zachary Preston. And we already had 3 that were already serving that wished to continue to serve: Perry Carrington, Teresa Stewart, and Lee Lansford. Marie Gooding resigned as of January 25th, so we needed someone to take her place, so we had 2 openings. So we had 2 applicants, and that was, again, Mark Cardolo and Kernahan and Zachary Preston. So I need a motion to appoint, appoint these to the IDA committee.
And we're reappointing some as well, right?
We're
So-
reappointing the ones that I mentioned, and then we have 2 new ones.
So the full term will be Perry Carrington, Teresa Stewart, Lee Lunsford, and Mark Kernahan for a full term. And then Zachary Preston will fill the unexpired term of Ms. Godin, which is 3 years.
I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes,
Mrs. Amos.
Yes.
On unanimous vote, the measure is passed.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 10, approval of the fiscal year 2022-2023 local choice health insurance rates. Mr. Davis, are you?
I can start it off, and then it can be a council discussion for sure. At our meeting, at our work session last week, you will recall that we talked about what the Finance Committee had brought to your attention of the rates increasing for our health insurance through Anthem, and that we need to select a rate at which we are going to use. And by that, I mean the percentage that the employee's going to pay and the town's going to pay. And then so that we can give that to Anthem by the 25th when it is due for our renewal. At that meeting, you all discussed looking at a few options, and those percentages of increase or employee pay were sent to you for your consideration.
Hopefully y'all looked at that spreadsheet. And I showed on there where there's a 1% increase in what the employees are currently paid, all the way up to a 3% increase. And keep in mind, the employee increases that you see there are pre-tax. So this deduction is taken out pre-tax. So there's a 10 to 15% savings in the net check over what the increase is. And if you take a look at some of the health insurance rates that are being paid out there in the private community, some single plans are paying anywhere from $60 to $80 per payday for a single plan, and family plans are well up to $450, $470 every 2 weeks. So what we have for the employees is a very, very generous percentage that we pay. In looking at this, the spreadsheet, and my personal recommendation to council is that we increase the employee contribution by 2.5% over the current contribution, and that is in the next to last column on the spreadsheet that was sent to you, where the single employees would see somewhere from $10 to $12 per payday increase. Those that have family would be about $51 per payday. These are pre-tax deductions, so it'd be a little bit less than that in the net check.
Discussion?
It's a no-win situation.
I looked at it, and that's the best plan, honestly. So I'm going to make a second motion on that.
Motion.
I'll put mine in form as a motion, 2.5% increase in
And you'll
employee
second it?
contribution.
I'll second that. It's the best plan.
Okay. Any other discussion before we vote? If not, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
yes,
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Cole.
Yes.
On a unanimous vote, the measure is passed.
Thank you. Item 11, adoption of Resolution 2022-0301, salary adjustments for E911 communication operators. And I believe we had this discussion already, right, Mr. Davis? And this is just solidifying it in the form of a resolution?
It is, and it also allows us to transfer funds from the wireless fund to the actual department for the increase in funds that we'll need to adjust these salaries.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-03-01.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer.
Yes.
On a unanimous vote, the measure is passed.
Thank you. Under new business, item 12, request for conditional use permit, case CUP 22-001. And I believe you said that the residents are present. Any questions of the residents?
Now, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for case CUP 22-001.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter.
Yes.
On a unanimous vote, the measure is passed.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending. Item 13, partial refund business license for Davies and Davies Attorneys at Law.
Mayor, this business is no longer in the town of Farmville, and so they have requested that they get a partial refund on their business license.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the partial refund of $46.80 on the 2021 business license to Davies and Davies Attorneys at Law.
Second.
Motion and second. We're spending money. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott.
Yes.
On a unanimous vote, the measure is passed.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 14, discussion of changes on rental facilities, fees, and deposits. Mr. Davis?
Mayor, this is another discussion that was had in Finance Committee at the end of last month, and that was rental facilities and their fees and what the cost is for us to maintain and then also to clean after each event. Our rental facility rates have not really adjusted at any point in time since I've been here in the last 5 years. I don't know that they've been adjusted at any point in time prior to that in any length of time. And at today's use of these, I know the last few years, obviously, they haven't been because of where we've been with a pandemic. But, the year prior to that, in 2019, just a calendar year to give you an idea, the train station was used 162 times. Wilkes Lake 62 times, Fireman Sports Arena 36, the Banquet Room 18, Riverside Park 10, Crouch Stage 4, and our community marketplace outside of the farmers market 3 times. That's quite a bit of use, wear and tear on our buildings, but also the expense of us having to clean them as well afterwards. $150 for the train station is a steal. That's even $1,300 for a banquet room if you're having alcohol is a steal. And I think my proposal that you have of going up on the rates is not drastic by any means. I think if we can do this, it's kind of like when we talk about our water and sewer rates, right? If we don't wait all until one time, but we gradually increase these as the economy has been increasing, then that's something that we should do. The other thing that was discussed is a proposed deposit. In other words, you put a deposit down what I'm also saying is we would get the rental fee up front so that we don't have any delinquent rentals of people not paying after the fact. But we would also get a deposit up front, so that there's any damage in excess of in this rental, then the deposit would not be given back. But if the facility is in a good shape, not too extreme that it's going to take more than average cleaning, then you would get your deposit back. And you see that as well. So that's what I'm suggesting that we move towards too, in that we increase the rental rates, and we also add a deposit that is potentially something that the renter can get back after the event.
You also, would you also like to clarify the nonprofit use?
Yeah, not long after I was allowed and you all provided me this position, I suggested that we look at how we actually handle these, and everybody told me, you just make the decision on how you want, how we handle rentals. And one of the things I implemented is that it's not on a basis of who it is, when it is type deal of whether you get it for free or whether you have to pay for it. The only way you get it for free is if you're a government entity or a nonprofit and you get it one time for free a year. And the reason I did that is I can go back to the same numbers I gave you. In 2019, before me, only 101 people paid for the train station out of 162. So you're not going to have that many nonprofits, that many government people per year, once per year. So I think that is still being a community type. We're still being community in that we're not asking them to pay for one of those events, especially if it's their yearly fundraiser or something like that, to help them. But outside of that, I think that, we should be collecting for the fees.
What's the pleasure of council?
So in these fees, the rental rate and the cleaning rate are separate fees, or are they included in the proposed rental rate?
No, I just gave you just an idea of what it cost us. The proposed rate is the proposed rental fee and the proposed deposit. If it comes back without being extremely dirty or no damage to the building, then they would get the deposit back after the rental.
So the fee for the train station would be $350, requires a $200 deposit, then they'd pay $150 before they use it, or?
No, you'd pay $550 up front, you get the $200 back.
Oh, okay. Unless you damage it, then you don't get the $200 back.
Correct.
Okay.
And I have no problem with none of these except for the sports arena. I think the deposit needs to be higher on the sports arena. And I'm sorry, Mr. Meaton, I would have said it then. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
Well, I mean, the deposit for a larger room should be a larger deposit because they can do more damage in a larger space. So you got a $200 deposit in train station, 200 in sports arena, and 200 in banquet room. And
Would you suggest 500?
500 for the banquet and the sports arena.
Yeah, for both, for banquet and the sports arena.
I was, as I'm asking for increases, I wasn't trying to be too greedy.
It's just a deposit. They'll get it back. So you put that into a motion?
Yeah, I'll put that in the form of a motion to approve the request from the town manager of the increases, but to the adjustment of the deposit for the sports arena and for the banquet room to $500.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion?
When is this going to go into effect?
Good question.
Well, I want to look at when we've already got it rented out. So it would potentially be any new rentals as of after tonight. If you've already got a rental on the books, obviously it's not going to go back. But from any new rentals from this point forward, we would do that.
So new rentals after tonight, you add that to your motion?
Sure.
And you add that to your second?
So a question
The clerk will
is,
have fun with that.
clarification now, nonprofit can use it one time, then after that they must pay.
Correct.
In a year's time.
Yeah, in a year's time, 12 months.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, you got that? You'll call the roll.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
On a unanimous vote, the measure is passed.
Thank you. Standing committees, anything on my left? Anything on my right for the standing committees? If not, we'll move on to staff reports. Mr. Davis?
Mayor, I just have one. I'm going to just let y'all know that I am changing the paving schedule. This year, we're supposed to be finishing out West 3rd Street and filling in that area that we haven't done yet. However, now that we have ARPA funds, I really don't want to tear up, I don't want to repave that street until we have some clarification on whether the infrastructure in that area should be replaced before we do the repaving. And so I'm moving from repaving that right now to the next set of most needed areas in our CIP. And so for the bid that's going to be going out here at the end of this week, first of next week, we'll be doing all the streets in the Crestview neighborhood. It's in really bad shape in that neighborhood. And also, so we're looking at spending about almost $800,000 that we've gotten in VDOT maintenance funds. And so the next streets are 4th Street, Longwood Avenue, Johnston Drive, Putney Street, Barber Street. All those streets in that area are the next in need and in our CIP that way. So just wanted to give you some information on we're making that change based on with these ARPA funds. We really need to think about what we're paving before we, especially a major highway that we do have water and sewer that may need to be changed out that connects to some other areas.
I have a question. With Eastgate Trailer Court, is that private road? Landon Street?
Yeah. Oh.
You go down there, 200 feet, down dropped it, then it's all private after that. So we're gonna do it before you go into the credit court center. But part of the town road does go down there, but it's not into the credit court center.
Okay, thank you.
Would even any of those funds go to do sidewalks in some areas?
If you have some sidewalks, we'll be happy to do some of those. The hard part for us right now is some of the vacancies we have, some of the retirees, is we don't have the skill in concrete work that we had before, but we could do some concrete work.
Yeah, I know some people on 4th Avenue have asked about sidewalks. I'm sure Crestview, there's a lot more walking activity over in there.
You mean
installing new
sidewalks?
sidewalks? Yeah, new sidewalks. If that money would go to new sidewalks.
It would not install new sidewalks. No, it would just be the paving of streets. When we look at sidewalks in neighborhoods like that, we also have to look at drainage because we don't have a traditional stormwater management system. We use ditches that drain and flow out into to a main part for distribution. So if we had like an MS4 drainage system, curbs and gutters and sidewalks in neighborhoods would make perfect sense. But here, it's not that simple.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the ARP money as if it's anyway, because it's infrastructure. You know, my opinion, sidewalks would be infrastructure, so.
But then we'd have to figure out a lot larger bill of drainage.
But you got a lot of money coming.
Anything else? Chief?
Mayor, council members, and Mr. Davis, I just want to tell y'all how excited I am and honored of what y'all did for our communications officers tonight. You know, I started my career 30 years ago as a dispatcher, and to see where we were then and where we are now and the responsibilities that these people have is simply amazing. And it's been something that's bothered me for a long time, that they were underpaid, because they are not only our lifeline out here on the streets, but they're the entire community's lifeline. And these people are they're very unique. It takes a special person to do what they do. And I just can't express to you how appreciative I am on behalf of myself and our communication center for what you've done tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Atkins?
Yeah, you know, 25th, we have the big event along with at the end of this month, 25th, and then next month, of course, April, third Monday in April, big cleanup campaign for the town.
Thank you, sir. Anyone, any other staff person? If not, we'll go around the table. Mr. Cole? Mr. Hunter? Mr. Parrott? Mr. Dwyer? Mr. Reed? Ms. Amos? It's always a test to see if I can call everybody's name. Anybody else have anything? Are we all done? Not yet. I have one more thing. One of my favorite passages of Scripture is the 3rd chapter of Ecclesiastes, which talks about, to everything there's a season, a time, and a place. And sometimes those seasons are easy, and sometimes they're difficult. Certainly the last couple years have been more challenging than others, but we've persevered, and we're in a much better place today. I said back in 2018, when I ran for mayor again, that it would be my last run. And I recall vividly sitting down with a friend a few weeks after that election and talking about what was next and where we went next. And we talked about some of the things in Dr. Henry Cloud's book, Necessary Endings. We also talked about the multiple seasons of life and how life changes. And as I look around the dais, I realize that I have seen every seat here turn over some multiple times, minus the vice mayors, over the last 25 years since I've been here. I also realize these seats don't belong to the people that are sitting in them. These seats belong to the citizens and the taxpayers of the town of Farmville. And we just have the honor and privilege of occupying them for a season. As I reflect on my time here, which began in 1998, when then Mayor Newman was elected mayor and I was appointed to fill his unexpired council seat. So I've seen a large part of Farmville's growth and prosperity over the last almost 25 years. I've referred to us often as the shining city or shining town on a hill. We've always had that spirit of reaching out to others in need and offering help. I'll always remember the town of Burkeville when they lost their water. We sent people and equipment to help. We've sent people to other states during disasters. It's the spirit that is Farmville. I've told many audiences over the years that Farmville is unique and that is not a cliche. Farmville is different. We've always been a leader. We've always been creative. We've always thought outside the box. Sometimes we've even gone out on a limb. Mr. Davis and I have had many discussions over his course of time here how things are not always black and white, and that we have to learn sometimes to deal in the gray. And that's why he changed to gray suits. You know, I've often said also that Farmville should never become what I call a cookie-cutter town. It should never be just like everybody else. It should always hold its own distinction. We've always led the way in Farmville. We've always been innovative. We've always been creative. We've always collaborated. We've always had partners. And other towns and localities, I know for a fact, because I've worked in other towns and localities, have always looked up to Farmville. Farmville has been the guiding light for many folks, and we are Farmville. I mean, we are Farmville, and that just kind of says it all there. As I reflect on my time, there are quite a few poignant times that stand out. The morning that the building that's set right here burned, there was several of us gathered on Main Street, and we decided then that would be a great spot for a town hall. And here we sat tonight in that town hall. There was a time when the town owed about $22 million in debt, and it was a bit unmanageable. Today, our debt, Madam Treasurer, is just over $7 million, and the town is in the greatest shape financially that it's ever been. There are a lot of stories that I could share over the 25 years that I've been here, but you'll have to wait till the book comes out to read those. One of my personal goals was and always has been to build partnerships with our partners. And tonight I'm pleased to say the town and the partners have some of the best relationships they have. I've always maintained from the very beginning that Longwood's an economic engine that drives the area. It did then, it does now, and our relationship with the university is at its height. And I am grateful to President Reevely and to all the folks like Jen and her counterparts that they've been so supportive of the town, and we have a great relationship. Mr. Davis can attest to that relationship because when the final buzzer rang in Charlotte on Sunday, his phone began to ring. How are we going to welcome these guys back, and let's get busy planning. I even kept him up late on Sunday night preparing for Monday. The town should never lose sight of the mutual value of those relationships. And it's not just Longwood, it's Prince Edward, it's Cumberland, it's Hampton-Sydney, and it's not just our local partners, but it's our state and national representatives, and I'm grateful for the relationship with Delegate Edmonds and Senator Peake. They've been wonderful to work with. The town's a great place. We've survived the pandemic, we survived the woke movement, which was really real for us, but we moved through that with the Farmville spirit of unity, and we're in a great place. So the season has come for me personally to move to the next season of my life. I have another 9 or 10 months to serve, and I plan on doing that with as much enthusiasm and spirit as we have from day one. And when my term ends, I'll explore other opportunities at other levels for serving, because building a better community is just simply a part of my DNA. I say thank you to the citizens of Farmville for giving me this honor, and it's been an honor for the last 8 years to serve as your mayor. I also say thank you to the ladies and gentlemen up here, because again, we're Farmville and we are like no other town council. If you should watch other town councils or visit other places, you will find out that the camaraderie and the spirit is not there. But we have always worked together well. We don't always agree, but we can agree to disagree and move forward. Mr. Hunter, one of the moments that will always stick with me was when I won the mayor's race the first time in 2014. And a few days after that election, you said, let's have lunch. And we did, and your very first question is, where are you going to take us? Where are we going? What's your plan, and how are we going to get there? 8 years later, I'm very pleased that the plan has worked. We're there, and it's time for, there's a former defense secretary who once said, it's time for new eyes. And it's time for new eyes. It's time for new leadership. But Farmville will always be Farmville. It will always hold a really special place in my heart. And I am deeply appreciative of not only you all, the citizens, but the department heads, Robin, Andy, Carol Ann. You all have all been here longer than me, and it's been a joy to work with each of you, and keep working the next 10 months. The November, I hesitated on when to announce, but it's going to be a very long election season because the election's not to November, but there are folks that know I'm not running and they're interested in getting their campaigns together. So I thought it's no better time than now to give them that opportunity to start running. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.